Good morning, and I appreciate you for joining me again this morning for another morning fast break. Hope that God has been blessing you and that you've been learning and gathering encouragement from what we've been sharing over the last few weeks. We are continuing our series on no fear. The devil is attacking us and trying all he can to make us afraid of what's going on in the world, but I want you to know today that you have nothing to fear. Let's continue our series here with Psalms, the 23rd chapter. Today we're going to talk about the fourth verse. I believe that this is a verse that everyone likes. The language in it is very poetic. I think it's very appropriate for what we're dealing with today. Psalms 23:4 says, "Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." Now, the thing about the scripture, as it continues, what we've been talking about is God being the shepherd of the believer, the shepherd of the one who has surrendered his will for God's will. He says that, yea, he begins with affirming, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that he knows that there will be tough times ahead. Yea, though I walk through the valley. Yea, even though I encounter turbulence and tough times. Yes, even though there is a chance that this is going to be my lot in life, I know that he's with me. I know that he is present and he is manifesting himself. It says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. That phrase there, valley of the shadow of death, can also be translated to the deep, dark valley, or the deepest and darkest valley. Sometimes we go through places in life and we wonder, how did we get here? What was it that led us to this place? How do we find ourselves in this situation that somehow or another, with all that's going on in the world, we ended up here and now? And I want you to know that you don't have to worry about the coming of trouble and the coming of trials, because undoubtedly they will come. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them, that is the righteous, out of them all. Paul encourages Timothy to be a partaker of the afflictions of the gospel. But he says, do it according to the power of God. I look forward to talking about that scripture one day soon. I want you to know that the Lord is engaged. At the moment that you find yourself engaged in trouble, you find yourself in the middle of entrapment or issues, God is engaged. He truly meets you at your point of need. You don't have to worry about what's going on in this world and what's happening around you. You can certainly be informed without being overly concerned. I don't want you ever to think that ignorance is bliss, because the writer here says, I know where I am. I'm walking through the valley of the shadow of death. I am not ignorant as to where I am or where my location is. I know where I am. And where I am is bad. But he's with me. And he has brought with him the tools to neutralize every enemy that I may encounter while in the valley. Now, it's interesting, the tools that he brings along. The rod and the staff, because the rod is for the sheep. And the staff is for those that would come and devour the sheep. Which says to me that there are enemies within and without that we encounter as we go through life. That when we go through our hardest times, sometimes the enemy is not the enemy over there, but it's the enemy that's right here. The enemy that we look in the mirror and we talk to. Sometimes our enemy is very close. Then sometimes We have enemies that are out. We have people out there that are offensive, that are mean, that are nasty. I've had people say things about me that ordinarily would cause me great concern and great upset. But when I realized that everything done against me was a reflection of God's power working in my life, I ceased to be upset, because I realized that the attack was never on me, but it was on the kingdom. And whatever they did, trying to damage me, they were just damaging the kingdom. And what God says is, I will never allow the gates of hell to prevail against my church. Who is the church? You, me, we're the church. So we don't worry about what's coming. We don't worry about what's out there. We don't even worry about the things that we can do ourselves to damage ourselves. But we live after God's will, knowing that He has the ability to neutralize our enemies, neutralize our internal enemies, and neutralize the things that even we do to ourselves. What a truly mighty God we serve, who is not at any point lacking in regards to where we are as human beings. He knows what you're dealing with. Therefore, my brothers, therefore, my sisters, therefore, those of you who are concerned, I want you to celebrate and realize that you have nothing to fear. You are God's elect, and you need to be happy. I am so happy. I am so delighted. I know that God is getting ready to do something powerful and great. And if I just hold on a little while longer, I'm going to be dancing. He's with me. His rod and his staff comfort me. Say it again. Look in the mirror and say it to yourself one more time. Say, I have nothing to fear. Let's have a great day today. Let's celebrate. God's got our back, and we're going forward in God. Be blessed.